Hello, everyone. Welcome to our 3 with the SME conversation focused on uncovering business value in MercuryGate's product roadmap. Today, we're talking with a MercuryGate subject matter expert and MercuryGate Smart Transportation Platform about how we develop that platform as a product for our users. And we're here to give you a quick understanding of this very important topic with some real-world applications. My name is Michael Willard, and before we get started, a few housekeeping tips for you. This session is recorded, and we're making it available to you on demand, so you can stop, start, rewind at your convenience, go back and listen to something you want to hear again anytime. It's all on demand and available for you there. Please take a moment to check out the related content that you see there in your webinar viewer. You can download some of those deliverables to take a deeper dive into the topic. We've got some great stuff there. And of course, our SME invites you to submit questions. You can reach out to them there. Again, you can see our printers and our LinkedIn profiles and our email addresses there in the presenter links. Just reach out with any questions that you might have after the conclusion of today's webinar. Of course, follow us on LinkedIn. You can keep track of all the stuff that's going on here with MercuryGate, all the 3 with the SME events that we have coming up. Just connect with us there on that LinkedIn spot that you see in our related content. With that out of the way, let's introduce today's subject matter expert. That's Vicki Walker. She's MercuryGate's Vice President of Global Product Management. It's her job to make sure that our team is putting all the product pieces together to meet the customer needs and deliver value to their organization. Vicki's got more than 25 years of senior executive experience leading strategy, transformation, and go-to-market efforts for global technology businesses. She's got a unique interest in applying technologies in ways that make people more efficient. Welcome to our conversation today, Vicki.
Thank you, Michael.
Again, I am Michael Willard, a marketing strategist for MercuryGate and the host of our 3 with the SME conversation series. And so I want to dive right into the topic today. Vicki, what is the product roadmap and why do we have it for MercuryGate?
Michael, the product roadmap is really a core piece of planning to make sure that our product is efficient and effective and delivering value for our customers. It's what aligns our efforts to make sure that we're delivering what customers need and staying ahead of market changes that might be happening in the industry in general or in a particular segment of their business.
Okay, who would need to see the roadmap? Who needs to hear this? Anybody in particular amongst those customers that you just talked about?
Well, it really helps us sync up between MercuryGate and our customers. We talk to our customers all the time. We do periodic business reviews, and they tell us things about what they need. Sometimes they're fairly granular things about what they'd like to see different on a screen. But sometimes they share with us their plans for a big pivot in their business or an acquisition that they're doing. Sometimes they may have a part of their business where they're not currently using our TMS product and they'd like to roll out the product to that part of the division. And it might need a few different things than the divisions that are currently using the product. So it's important for them to know what's coming up and future plans. And it's important for us to know the things that they're going to need in the future so we can plan them into the roadmap.
Okay, and so I know an important piece of the product roadmap is certainly communicating that information out. And one of the tools that we use is our product roadmap webinar. So why do we produce that webinar and how does it serve our audience of MercuryGate users?
Yeah, our product roadmap webinar is one of my favorite pieces of content we provide. We do a public roadmap webinar every quarter for every release. We have 4 releases a year, and that roadmap webinar is the opportunity to showcase all the new features and functionalities that are in the current release. Many times customers will recognize something that they've talked to us about in that roadmap, and in that webinar we'll actually go through it. And in fact, each one of the product managers goes through what's new for their product in that webinar. And they talk about what those features and functions do. They show what a screenshot of what the new feature actually looks like, so that customer might be different from what they're used to right within the webinar. And there's also an opportunity to ask questions. So if it's not completely clear how or why you would use a feature, we can address that right there.
That sounds like it's something important. Let me go back there. So the customers on the webinar with the very product managers over these pieces that we've developed into, the roadmap and into the platform, and they can ask those managers questions live there during the event. How important is that?
It's really important. Look, we have a real community of users, and there are a lot of people who are very, very knowledgeable about our TMS product. It's been a robust product for a long time, and we're adding new capabilities all the time. And sometimes they may not have used a new screen or a new capability, and we've added to that capability. So they catch up a little bit and they're able to say, oh, well, would I be able to use this here? Or, would the margins calculate the way I need them to there? So we can really get pretty granular and answer those questions live on the webinar.
Let's move on to the next piece there is this important. We've talked about the roadmap, but what's in it? What will people find when they have a look at the roadmap? What does it include?
So there's really an element of change within every roadmap. Supply chains are not static, and our customers' businesses are not static either. The industry is not static. So we use the roadmap to feed in our knowledge of what's happening in the industry, things that are coming. Customers tell us what's important to them. Sometimes there's new areas we want to get into in serving our customers. So we create that from various funnels. And each one of these are sort of a pipeline. The product managers understand as industry subject matter experts, and then there's what our customers tell us. So for an example, our digital freight capability was built on the foundation of MercuryGate being a massive hub of transactions that occur in millions of supply chains every day. But customers are increasingly managing their business in real time. And what the digital freight capability allows them to do is to see where is the best capacity between point A and point B that I need my transport in real time at the best price, and book it automatically and make sure that they always have the capability with the ups and downs of capacity and pricing to book the best capacity at the best price in real time. Flip side is it gives the carriers access to loads that they might not otherwise have seen in real time. So they're better able to manage their business, and shippers are better able to manage their costs. So that's a tremendous capability built on the foundation of what customers told us they wanted and what's really going on in the industry, which is real-time capabilities.
Yeah, and I want to come back to that piece about what the customers want and that customer input there. And I want to stay here with the roadmap just a moment more, because we've got an illustration to show our audience a little bit more about the initiatives that are included in our roadmap now for our product at MercuryGate. So, Vicki, maybe talk a little bit about what we're seeing here in this slide.
Well, I mentioned that we based on what's going on in the industry and what customers are telling us. And these 4 categories sort of represent what we hear most often. So broad categories at the top, you see best-in-class TMS. There's always continually added features, functionality, sometimes just new capabilities to make the screens more efficient, fewer clicks. That's where you see best-in-class TMS. We added, for instance, an invoice grid for financial users because they told us the financial users were having to click in and out of various screens. So we created a screen just for the financial users where they can do almost everything in one screen. It's more efficient for them. The next swim lane there is global visibility. This is a recurring theme we hear from customers. They need to see where their shipments physically are, but they also need to see workflow views and dashboards of, exception management, see visibility of from all angles, physical visibility, workflow visibility of what's happening to their transportation. That's the theme of global visibility. And you see ocean tracking, ocean and container tracking. That's been a big theme for customers as they globalize. It becomes more and more important. Real-time decisions and optimization is about, as I said, increasing the pace of business and being able to do more in real time and to be able to optimize on various parameters. You see digital freight, I talked about that, but many businesses are having to track CO2 emissions, and they're going to begin to optimize on the basis of CO2 emissions. And the last piece there, door-to-door orchestration, which is really about being able to optimize the handoffs from one activity to another as a shipment goes through its life cycle. And we have integrated our final mile and TMS capability for that reason, from the beginning of procurement of materials through manufacturing, and then all the way to sometimes delivery right to the end user.
Vicki, that's a really nice high-level overview of our product roadmap, and I like the way you put it as swim lanes, and it kind of helps our users get a better understanding of the areas of focus. Let's take it to a little bit more of a granular level, because I know in this next slide, it really takes a deep dive into each one of those capabilities that sort of fill out what those swim lanes comprise. So maybe talk a little bit more about what we're seeing, and how does this help our users improve their awareness as they look to create strategy down the line.
Right. So this is our actual roadmap, and this is one of the slides that we share in our public roadmap webinars, and there's a bit more granularity around this, and you see the swim lanes that I just talked about. But what customers would see in the actual roadmap, for instance, if you're planning on expanding your business and that's going to cause you to do more global shipments, more ocean booking, or perhaps you're going to do that for the first time, or you're thinking about taking in the capability to do that in-house instead of using a customs broker. You see some of the things along the visibility line there where you see ocean execution. That's our container object, and being able to physically track a container, drill down into the container, see what kinds of goods are in that container. So the status of where are those goods. It's really important. You'll also see customs compliance capability, functionality. We are beginning to integrate customs compliance activities into workflow for the TMS. So you can track the documentation and whether it's cleared customs as that shipment goes through. So those are the kind of things and the level of granularity that our customers are able to see from our roadmap, and the sort of things that we talk about as features in the public roadmap webinar.
Now, in just a moment, we're going to talk a little bit more about the benefits that customers get from the roadmap. But while I'm here, as a user, a customer, when I'm looking at that, how do I get benefit for my business by seeing what you provided for us here?
Well, generally, we go through the individual features for that particular release in the webinar, and many times customers will not know that that's something that was that has come out, or they'll see something a little further on in the roadmap. And what we encourage them to do is, if there's something that they feel might benefit their business, or they want to know more about it to see if it will benefit their business, we ask them to reach out to their customer success managers, who are experts. We train them with every release so they know what's coming out and they know how to use it, and they can advise customers on how to use that.
That makes a lot of sense. That's helpful too. So let's keep on the topic of the benefits there, and maybe in a larger sense, how does the product roadmap help my business, Vicki, if I'm a listener out there?
Right. So I think in the larger sense, you really only understand where MercuryGate is going and where the new capabilities are if you're looking at that roadmap. And it is about a partnership. Our customers generally share where they're going with their business in our periodic business reviews. Are communicating and aligning what the customer needs are with our roadmap and talking about where they'd like to go next. And we do business reviews with our customers at least once a quarter, sometimes more for our larger customers. And oftentimes we'll discover some part of their business that they might not even have been thinking about talking to us about. And we've got capabilities they had never thought of, and we uncover those and we find opportunities for more partnership. And a lot of that conversation centers around that roadmap.
Outside of those regular business reviews that our teams having with their customers out there, what are some of the other ways that they might be able to provide some input about what they need from a product? Because I've teased it and we've mentioned it a couple of times. Customer input, user input is so critically important to the roadmap. How are they providing that to us?
So we actually have a really robust process for that. We use a tool called AHA, and it's a portal for our customers that they can log into and add ideas of features that they'd like to see as new capabilities in our product. The product team reviews those every 2 weeks, so it's a very regular cycle. We look at the ideas that customers have, and we look at whether this is something we think would appeal to many customers. And if it is, it may very well wind up in our product roadmap for all customers. Now, we also know that sometimes customers have specific needs for their business, and we'll see some of those ideas come in, and we'll look at the idea and say, we see that that's a good idea, but we don't think it's going to be something that 70% of our customers are going to use, but we recognize that it's important to this particular customer. And we give them a path to say, this is not something that we would be putting into our roadmap soon. We think it's a viable idea, however. If it's really very important to you, we have a path for expedited development where a customer can pay to have a feature developed that will be developed pretty much around their requirements, but made available later to all customers. So we have had a really robust flow of ideas through AHA, and it's something that I think is really important to keeping our product roadmap vital and healthy and aligned with customer needs.
And I understand it's become an increasing part of the product roadmap webinars too, because we're promoting and talking about some of those AHA ideas that are coming to fruition and spotlighting those in our webinars as well. And I see we've got something new that we've added, is just kind of a spotlight on these ideas.
You're right. And yeah, this is a slide from one of our last roadmap webinars. And in fact, this was an idea that came to us it was a granular idea, but a really important idea. Customers told us that it would be much better if they were able to filter a search that was already on their screen so that they didn't have to click back and forth. This, efficiency is everything for an operational professional that's trying to move really quickly. So this was an idea that came through AHA. It was something we thought was a great idea. We implemented it just recently. And when we do the roadmap, we're now putting a little badge you see in the upper right corner there that says AHA to say this was an idea that came from a customer, directly from a customer that's been implemented in the roadmap. And we have implemented over the last 4 years over 300 features that came directly from AHA through customers.
Wow. Yeah, that's really impressive. And so while I've got this slide up there, I know that the AHA recognition is an important part of our product roadmap webinar. And we touched on this a little bit earlier in our conversation, but how does that roadmap webinar that we produce and publish out there on a quarterly basis, how does that provide value and really bring benefit to our audience and our users? Why should they be paying attention?
Yeah, well, it really keeps us connected, I think. We have very, very good attendance in that roadmap webinar live, and it's also available on demand. And I always ask customers when I meet with them, are you attending the Public Roadmap webinar? And most of the time they say yes. If they say no, I make sure they know not only can they attend live, but they can see it on demand, and they can even ask questions on demand. And we will get those questions back. So even if they aren't able to participate live. So, it really becomes a vital communication between ourselves and our customer base, and keeping our product fresh.
Yeah, it also gives another platform for feedback too. Is that right?
It does. It absolutely does.
Well, Vicki, you've been very generous with your time, but before we conclude today's webinar, I just want to put it back in your court one last time and see if there's just anything else you wanted to add about the product roadmap and its role here at MercuryGate.
Well, I appreciate getting the opportunity to talk about it because it's a core piece of how we run the business. The product roadmap is really the living, breathing plan of where we're going in the future. It's made richer by our customers giving us feedback on it and telling us what they like and what they'd like to see next. So we always look forward to customer suggestions and feedback and feel that it makes our roadmap and our product better than ever.
Thanks so much for introducing this topic again, Vicki, to our audience and sharing some of your time with us today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Quick reminder to our audience, you can connect with Vicki. Just use that email link or LinkedIn link there in the On24 viewer. Her credentials are just there on your screen. Also, as you can see on our screen now, we provide regular transportation industry updates in our Knowledge Center. That's where you'll find the MercuryGate blog. It's updated weekly with topics focused on helping you achieve smart transportation efficiency across your supply chain. Just find our Knowledge Center at MercuryGate.com. You can access all the deliverables that you see on your screen. Of course, don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn. The link is there for LinkedIn on your On24 viewer. Just click it there or visit any of the other deliverables we have there. We've got our AHA link. You can see it as well as some of our other product education available on your screen there. Finally, just visit our events page at MercuryGate.com. Check out our next upcoming presentation. We've got more episodes of 3 with the SME coming up in September. Until then, on behalf of Vicki Walker and everyone at MercuryGate International, thank you for joining today's conversation.